Hey guys, welcome back, and in this session we'll talk about evaluate statement in COBOL. Evaluate statement in COBOL is like Microsoft Visual Basic select case statement. It was introduced with COBOL 85 version, and you can use COBOL evaluate statement in different scenarios as per your requirement. In fact, you can use evaluate statement to code series of cases more clearly, efficiently, and in a more structured format. An evaluate statement is not only easier to code than a series of if-then-else statement. In fact, it is more efficient. Once a condition in an evaluate is met, then there is no need for the computer to test the remaining conditions. Therefore, after a condition in a when clause is being satisfied, the corresponding imperative statements are executed, and the execution continues to the statement following end evaluate. On the other hand, nested conditions are executed in a similar manner. Once an if condition is met and its imperative statements are executed, all the else clause are bypassed and execution continues after the end if. But if you have simple conditions, then each condition will be executed independently. This means that in the preceding, if we have 5 if statement in place of an evaluate statement, then each condition will be executed independently. And in case if first met the condition, even then also remaining condition will be evaluated. So that is why evaluate statement is far better than series of if statements. Now let's talk about the format of evaluate statement. Evaluate statement has 4 different format. First one is evaluate when with true. Then you have evaluate when with also. After that you have evaluate when with conditions. And the last one is evaluate when with through option. Now let's look at the example so that you can understand how exactly these different formats can be used in your COBOL program. So in the first example, we have an evaluate statement which is actually checking the value of marital status, and based on that particular value, it's displaying whether the employee is married, single, or not specified, right? So if you notice, we have an evaluate statement, and thereafter we have a variable that is marital status, and the value of this marital status is specified with when clause, right? So when the value is M, then it will display married. In case value is S or D, in that case it will going to display single, and in case if the value is other than that, then it will display not specified. Now let's talk about our second example. So again we have a procedure division, and in that we have specified a paragraph, and within that paragraph we have specified the evaluate statement. And in this case we have used a different variant, and in this case what we have done is we have used evaluate true, and with when clause we have actually specified the variables which is specified at level 88, and in case if the value is true, then the corresponding imperative statement will be executed. So in this case, let's say our value is true, that means end of the file, that means we do not have any more record in the file. So in that case, perform statement will be executed and we're going to write the trailer record. And similarly, in case if our switch is not turned on, that means we still have couple of records in the file. That means in that scenario, our not end of the file will be executed, and the imperative statement would be perform B00-write detail record and perform B10-read-next record. And in case if the switch which was defined at level 88, none of the value is being satisfied, then when other will be performed, right? Now let's look at our third example, and in this case again we have an evaluate statement, but in this case we have evaluate true also true. So that means we are validating two conditions simultaneously. And if you notice the first one, we are just checking if variable A is equal to variable B and or also at the same time variable C is equal to variable D. So in that case we're going to display case 1 is true. And similarly we have other cases or conditions which is being defined. Now let's talk about our last example, that is number 4, and in this example we have used evaluate with true option. And if you notice the when condition, we have actually used logical operators to create compound condition. So first one says if my age is greater than 10 and my ws-gen, that means gender, is equals to m, that is male, then display male with age greater than 10. And similarly, if you notice the second one, it says if my age is greater than 10 and gender is equals to f, then it's going to print female with age greater than 10. And in case if none of the condition is satisfied, then it'll say criteria not specified. So this is how you can use evaluate statement in your COBOL program. So till now, if you have any question, then do let me know. Otherwise, let's move on to our next lecture.